utilities are, and we are supposed to follow in New York State, are called the standardized interconnection requirements. I think they've been updated about 3 times in 10 years. We've been very active in getting those updated and providing comments and inputs to improve them. They've gotten better along the road, but there's still work to be done. All 4 utilities do not follow the SIR to some degree for their own reasons. And we get all sorts of different things thrown at us. We have one utility will only install a net meter 10 days after we test it. God help us if they show up to change the net meter and find us still working on the system. They'll just refuse to put the net meter in for a month or 2 at a time. That's contradictory to the SIR, but that's the way they choose to operate. That causes soft costs because usually what it means is that we finish the system, we test it, we're allowed to turn it on for 2 hours and test it, then we have to go away. We have to ask for the net meter. We don't know when they're going to come and install that. They don't tell us. We have to bother our customer. Our customer is angry because he's got a system on his roof, the sun's shining, it's not turned on, he's paid a lot of money for it already. And then we have to drive back out there when we find out that the meter has been changed, show them how to operate the system. And those are real soft costs. Another utility insists on us providing them with an electrical inspection certificate, a final certificate. The PSC order implementing the latest SIR specifically told utilities not to do that, but they insist on doing it anyway. That can be a problem. We have an electrician in the city of Kingston, finished up a system for us, licensed electrician, went on vacation for a month. And therefore we could not get approval from the utility or final invoice NYSERDA for over a month while we waited for that electrical certificate. 2 utilities just in the last month alone have invented new forms. One saw on a 3-line drawing that we submitted that we were interconnecting on the line side of an automatic transfer switch for a generator. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But they produced a draft form from their legal department requiring the customer to accept all liability for the automatic transfer switch not operating correctly and having his generator backfeed their grid in the event of a power failure. That one's still going on. It's been about a month. They've said they're going to declare our PV system an illegal intertie if the customer doesn't sign that form. So I don't know where that one's going. We'll find out. Might end up as another petition to the PSC, but we'll see. I'm getting kind of good at those these days. And then yesterday I'm preparing this chart, literally preparing this chart, and one of my engineers walks in from the 4th utility with a new form, a checklist that we now have to fill out, sign, that says you do not have to notarize this on the bottom. Thank God for that. But one of the things they now require is a laminated 3-line drawing be installed at the site near their meter, completely outside the SIR. I don't know how to make a laminated 3-line circuit drawing that's going to last for 20 years outside, but we're dealing with that now. So, and then our favorite utility stopped accepting net metering applications a few weeks ago, but relented on a week ago tomorrow. So there's a lot of opportunities to reduce costs. This is driving a lot of costs in PV, and we still have a ways to go. Oops. Okay, permitting. This is the most disorganized mess in New York State. This is, Vermont, we heard about Vermont, and now for something completely different. We have a thing in New York State called home rule. I'm kind of familiar with it because I'm actually on our town zoning board of appeals. But each jurisdiction has its own licensing and permitting rules, forms, procedures, and zoning. And we deal with all sorts of things. They're all over the map. We have one town that rejected a building permit application because we hand-delivered it. We had another town reject the building permit application because we mailed it. They wanted it the other way around, so we have to keep track of those kinds of things. Some require prepayment. If you don't send in a check with the building permit application, they bounce it back to you. Others, if you send in a check, they bounce it back because they want to calculate the cost before you send in check. So keep track of those things as best as possible. And we have every possible permutation and combination of application format. We have some you can download online. We have some you have to call them and they'll fax it. We have some you have to go pick it up because it's a four-colored form, carbon copy type thing in different colors to go to different places, I guess, in the town. We get, some towns require 3-line drawings, some require them to be stamped by a professional engineer, most now require structural analysis. We do that on all systems anyway. I think that's a good idea, actually, because we don't want a PV system to take down a roof under snow load. Some require site plans, some require the site plans to be stamped by a professional engineer, some require cut sheets on the equipment. A few require notarized permission slips or forms from the customer, some don't. Some have only one electrical inspector they permit us to use, and they tend to have the highest fees, no surprise there. And then, we even have a few towns that don't require permits for PV, so those are the lucky ones, but I'm not going to tell who those are, because those are the ones we like to do business in. So there's a lot of opportunities to reduce costs here. It's kind of a real mess in New York State right now, and this is real stuff, so thank you.
Okay, I've been told to, rush into this and give you a high-level view. Yeah, that's it, high level of UI. Just to tell you about myself, I'm Devang Patel. I'm a business development professional for the United Illuminating Company in Connecticut. And for those of you who are not familiar with UI, we're the smaller but the better of the two utilities in Connecticut. We are, in recent times, we've doubled our size by the acquisition of 3 gas companies. If you're not familiar with that, but we comprise of 17 towns in the coastal area of Connecticut, all the way from Bridgeport to New Haven, but we do serve some of the most congested areas in Connecticut as well, and 2 of the largest cities in Connecticut. So just to give you a little highlight, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about just quickly, there's a couple things going on in Connecticut I can comment on, and some of my our own personal experience. I played a similar role as Marker does, and some of the others of the utility, so I won't go into that too much. But one thing I wanted to talk about as part of the DOE Rooftop Solar Challenge, we do have members of CEFIA here, who's our Clean Energy Finance and Investment Authority, as part of the SunShot Initiative, where their charge is to look into some of the permitting and interconnection issues and soft costs, and provide some analysis and research in that area and suggestions to make some changes in Connecticut. Permitting, state and local permitting, there are some, obviously the last person here experienced a lot in differing situations, different towns. We have the same thing going on in Connecticut. I personally have experienced that by piloting activities for the utility for solar. But we also have issues, especially in the coastal areas of Connecticut, where we have to deal with DEP and siting council issues and getting approvals for a variety of other issues too. Electrical interconnection guidelines in Connecticut, it's the regulatory authority has actually approved the interconnection guidelines that both utilities use. They're standardized, they're online, they're available. It's a pretty standard process, and it's actually been the process that's interconnected 3,000 PG systems in Connecticut already. We don't hear a lot about that. Connecticut is a small state, and we usually follow everybody else and learn from them and then implement our programs in Connecticut. As you have heard, we don't call ours SRECs because we like to do things differently. We call them ZRECs. We have a ZREC program and an LREC program, and if you're not familiar with LREC is low emission renewable energy credits, and ZREC is zero emission, referring to solar. LREC is really referring to fuel cells, which is a Class 1 renewable resource defined in Connecticut, along with California, I guess is the only other state that allows it. Incentive grants are also available through the Clean Energy Finance and Investment Authority, Okay, SEFIA is focused on 4 things. I think you've heard about this before. So just reducing the non-hardware soft costs that we've been talking about, just providing some innovative financing options. This is some of the goals of the SunShot Initiative. And I encourage you to talk to Celia and Joseph up there, hands up over there, if you want to find out more about that. Here's some observations that I've had. We've kind of actually installed some pilot systems just to learn about the process and what our customers will go through and how to deal with the towns. But yeah, there's inconsistent permitting requirements all the way throughout. And in the 4 or 5 towns that I work with, permitting costs have been so significantly different as well. There's the application of standards, just the understanding that inspectors have in dealing with solar systems in particular, that it varies also. And it kind of drives their understanding what the